How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Confessing Jesus Christ. And a topic that comes up a lot, especially to Protestant believers, is the subject of images and what are called icons to ancient faith churches. And to Protestants, like I would consider myself most of my life, it was a fear and something I was very hesitant to subscribe to. The depictions of Jesus Christ, of different angelic beings and things like this. But I'm humbly reassessing what I formerly believed, especially as I am now visiting and regularly attending an Orthodox Church, which is really big on their artwork and icons. The whole church is beautiful, has artwork everywhere, and it's just amazing. And seeing as it's an ancient church, close to the ancient church fathers, I've had to go backwards and start kind of challenging some of my thoughts, and that's bringing me to some different church fathers, one being John of Damascus, who is a very staunch proponent of icons. And we're going to read a little bit of his statements on defending iconography from this book I have here, The Orthodox Church by Timothy Ware, An Introduction to Eastern Christianity. So, John of Damascus was a church father from about the 6th century, and he wrote in defense of icons. At the time, there was what is called iconoclasm in the Byzantine Empire, meaning they wanted to rid themselves of the use of icons. And John of Damascus was for it, and eventually they have what is called the seventh and I believe the last Ecumenical Council, which was the big subject was icons, and the use of icons was deemed appropriate by the ancient church in the Seventh Ecumenical Council. So I'm going to go to this book and I'm going to read some of the arguments and leave it to you all to consider. We shall consider first the charge of idolatry, which the iconoclasts brought against the iconodules. The iconodules are people that are for the use of icons. Then the positive value of icons as a means of instruction, and finally their doctrinal importance. The question of idolatry. When an Orthodox kisses an icon or prostrates himself before it, he is not guilty of idolatry. The icon is not an idol, but a symbol. The veneration shown to images is directed not towards stone, wood, and paint, but toward the person depicted. This had been pointed out some time before the iconoclast controversy by Leontius of Neapolis, who died about 650 AD, who said, "We do not make obeisance to the nature of wood, but we revere and do obeisance to him who was crucified on the cross. When the two beams of the cross are joined together, I adore the figure because of Christ, who was crucified on the cross, but if the beams are separated, I throw them away and burn them." Because icons are only symbols, Orthodox do not worship them, but revere or venerate them. John of Damascus carefully distinguished between the relative honor of veneration shown to material symbols and the worship due to God alone. The second argument or idea is icons as part of the church's teaching. It says, icons, said Leontius, are opened books to remind us of God. They are one of the means which the church employs in order to teach the faith. He who lacks learning or leisure to study works of theology has only to enter a church to see unfolded before him on the walls all the mysteries of the Christian religion. If a pagan asks you to show him your faith, said the iconodules, take him into church and place him before the icons. In this way, icons form a part of holy tradition. The third idea is the doctrinal significance of icons. Here we come to the real heart of the iconoclast dispute. Granted that icons are not idols, granted that they are useful for instruction, but are they not only permissible but necessary? Is it essential to have icons? The iconodules held that it is, because icons safeguard a full and proper doctrine of incarnation. Iconoclasts and iconodules agreed that God cannot be represented in his eternal nature. There's referencing John 1:18, says, no one has seen God at any time. But the iconodules continued, the incarnation has made a representational religious art possible. God can be depicted because he became human and took flesh. Material images, argued John of Damascus, can be made of him who took a material body. Quote, of old, God, the incorporeal and uncircumscribed, was not depicted at all. But now that God has appeared in the flesh and lived among humans, I make an image of the God who can be seen. I do not worship matter, but I worship the creator of matter, who for my sake became material and deigned to dwell in matter, who through matter effected my salvation. I will not cease from worshiping the matter through which my salvation has been effected. The iconoclasts, the people who want to destroy icons, by repudiating all representations of God, failed to take full account of the incarnation. They fell, as so many Puritans have done, into a kind of dualism, regarding matter as a defilement. They wanted a religion freed from all contact with what is material. For they thought that what is spiritual must be non-material. But this is to betray the incarnation by allowing no place to Christ's humanity, to his body. It is to forget that our body as well as our soul must be saved and transfigured. The iconoclast controversy is thus closely linked to the earlier disputes about Christ's person. It was not merely a controversy about religious art, but about the incarnation, about human salvation, about the salvation of the entire material cosmos. God took a material body, thereby proving that matter can be redeemed. The Word made flesh has deified the flesh, said John of Damascus. God has deified matter, making it spirit-bearing, and if flesh has become a vehicle of the Spirit, then so, though in a different way, can wood and paint. The Orthodox doctrine of icons is bound up with the Orthodox belief that the whole of God's creation, material as well as spiritual, is to be redeemed and glorified. In the words of Nicholas Zernov, what he says of Russians is true of all Orthodox. Icons were, for the Russians, not merely paintings. They were dynamic manifestations of man's spiritual power to redeem creation through beauty and art. The colors and lines of the icons were not meant to imitate nature. The artists aimed at demonstrating that men, animals, and plants, and the whole cosmos, could be rescued from their present state of degradation and restored to their proper image. The icons were pledges of the coming victory of a redeemed creation over the fallen one. The artistic perfection of an icon was not only a reflection of the celestial glory, it was a concrete example of matter restored to original harmony and beauty and serving as a vehicle of the Spirit. The icons were part of the transfigured cosmos. As John of Damascus put it, the icon is a song of triumph and a revelation and an enduring monument to the victory of the saints and the disgrace of the demons. The conclusion of the iconoclast dispute, the meeting of the Seventh Ecumenical Council, the triumph of orthodoxy in 843, these mark the end of the second period in Orthodox history, the period of the seven councils. These seven councils are of immense importance to orthodoxy. For members of the Orthodox Church, their interest is not merely historical but contemporary. They are the concern not only of scholars and clergy but of all the faithful. Even illiterate peasants, said Dan Steely, to whom in the corresponding class of life in Spain and Italy the names of Constance and Trent would probably be quite unknown, are well aware that their church reposes on the basis of the seven councils, and retain a hope that they may yet live to see an eighth general council, in which the evils of the time will be set straight. Orthodox often call themselves the Church of the Seven Councils. By this, they do not mean that Orthodox Church has ceased to think creatively since 787, but they see in the period of councils that the great age of theology, and next to the Bible, it is the seven councils which the Orthodox Church takes as its standard and guide in seeking solutions to new problems which arise in every generation. So thank you everybody for listening, and I really just want you guys to be able to consider that in your own thinking and determine what is right between you and for you, your relationship with God. So until next time, God bless you.